What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back today with more Danmachi Grand War. Guys, we are 2 away from getting to the final one, and I think we're going to try to record 111 tonight. It'll probably be very late tonight, but we're going to try to record that later on this evening. Now, 110. This one's interesting. Now, I feel fairly confident that if you have the Max Lemma Broken Water team that I showed you guys a billion times, you could probably wreck this out. Now, here's why I say that versus the Thunder team. Thunder team's got some great units, but it has one really major deficiency, and that is its debuffing. Okay, so let's go in here and we'll talk about this, and we'll kind of assess this, address this, and discuss why I say that, and why I feel like the Thunder team probably, at least for the units I have, I haven't double-checked. I don't recollect if there's other better debuffers. I guess that'd be a good thing to check before the video. But double-check your crew and see if maybe your crew is maybe a little more well-aligned to this fight than mine. I wouldn't be surprised, and frankly, I really kind of hope so, because I'm not going to lie, I was taken aback by how bad the Thunder team actually turned out to be for this event. But let's go ahead and go in here and talk about this. Now, of course, right out of the gate, we're going to use Line for her 33% SA gauge charge. We got to have 33% SA so that we get the quad SAs basically as quick as humanly possible. Then everybody else is going to kind of come in here and do their general buff stack, okay? Nothing too crazy here, just normal everyday things. The big thing you want to be aware of here. Now, first of all, I did not have a problem taking a huge amount of damage from this foe. Even my +2s, +3s that I did test with really seemed to kind of hold their own. Ryu's only a +3, and she's not even going to sweat this. So if you've got lower level units, you're going to be just fine. Now, Welf is going to come in here. I know Welf is Max Lemma broken, but he's going to be a sack. He's literally only going to give us the 25% single target damage. And honestly, since that's gone on turn 5 anyway, it really is just kind of an early game measure. And if you use somebody here defensively, most likely whoever you're using defensively is probably going to cut so much damage out of your team that you're not going to take enough damage to actually counter. You want to take a little bit of damage so that you are countering. If you're seeing zeros, once again, you're not countering, and those counters are going to be critical for the long run of the game. So, 25%. Then everyone's going to kind of come in here and do their buff and debuff stacking. Now, here's where it gets interesting. So we've got penetration critical rate down 40%. I like that. And she will actually do single target 20, but since we already have single target 25, I wouldn't need to do that later on, but she does need thunder attack damage 75% for now. So this is like the one and only time that we're going to use Plasma Orbit. Now, the bell that I'm using in the center, thus far as I am concerned, is the only unit that is on the Thunder team, at least that I have, that's capable of doing what I need to do here. So I need to debuff Magic, and I need to debuff Thunder, okay? Now, Magic and Physical are about even, but since I am focusing on the Magic team here, my Magic attack, my Magic units are significantly better than my Physical units. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get rid of a little bit. I'm going to have to debuff Magic attack and debuff Thunder resistance. So I'm going to use Bell here. Okay? So Bell will do Magic resistance and Thunder resistance down 30%. That is pretty bad in the realm of things today. I would hope for minimum 35. More than likely 40 would be like where I'm at, but that would probably be 2 units that I would have together. But I actually don't have any units that I could throw on the mainline team that would be able to do that debuffing. I might have a few sacks, but since all the debuffs are going to be taken away here in a couple of turns, I need to be able to put them back on. So, unfortunately, at least as far as the teams that I was able to build, 30% is the best debuff I've got, and that is not going to be adequate, especially considering I'm lacking a little bit in one of my assists. I'm lacking about 5% in my assists. Because of that, a turn 9 win is not possible with this team. But that's fine. We can actually go for the A clear, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to end about turn 16, I think, and we're going to go do it with an A clear. So we're going to go ahead and just continue with the debuff stack. Now, his skill 2 will remove strength and magic buffs, but I'm going to be honest, even though magic is buffed, I don't need to do that. It's not going to produce enough damage to prove threatening, so we're just going to kind of do skill 3 with Bell. There we go. In fact, I'm probably never going to use Bell's skill 2. appreciate that. Every single time. Never fails. You sit down to make a video, somebody's in a spam call you. It's just terrible. Terrible! Alright, so here comes Haruhime. She's going to do 33% disengaged charge, and everybody else is just going to go on to do their big single target attack. Now, you will need to do Dawn Wind here with Haruhime. It's going to be of vital importance because you've got to start replicating those buffs. Everybody needs to have their buffs replicated as much as humanly possible. Okay? Now, turn 4, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do Blowing Wind to replicate debuffs, because I've got a couple debuffs here that are falling off. The critical rate and penetration rate debuff are going to be going away, and in fact, I think... don't we have somebody that maybe I got rid of that unit? Yeah, I take that back. I got rid of the unit that did the major attack debuff because it was just strangling my team. So, yeah. So we want to replicate debuffs. Even though they're going to be gone next turn, we don't want those debuffs to run out this turn. It doesn't matter a huge amount, but trust me, it's just kind of good for business, shall we say. Now, normally, and I will emphasize normally, I would want to rebuff everybody's major attack on that turn. But since we're going to have to go back in here in a minute and go ahead and do some rebuffing anyway, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Now, at the end of this turn, all these debuffs are going to be gone, so I'm going to go ahead and do Night Storm to kind of get some more buffs out there. Okay, now, Ryu does do an extra attack, and I didn't rebuff that on this turn, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Actually, damage machine down 35%? Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and do that this turn, okay? In fact, hers is just an action, so I don't even need to do that, so I'm not worried about that. The only one I actually really need to do then is hers, and to be honest, hers is only running out this turn. So Collateral Thunder is the only one that I'm going to rebuff, and I'm going to do that right now. Other than that, everybody's going to do their big single target hit, and we're just going to keep going on with things the way they are. Ryu's isn't really an attack, it's more of like a general action. So it's an action we don't need. So why waste the turn? We just want to continue doing damage. Okay? Now, notice our debuffs are gone. Debuffs are kaput. So we've got to go back and put those on there. The good news is, Bell's debuffs, kind of, they stay put. They're good to go. His buffs are all still there. So all we got to do is just continue doing his big single damage. That's it. So we'll do his third skill. Now, we're going to go down here. We're going to get rid of the critical and penetration rate. We probably don't need to. To be completely fair, we could probably just continue doing this. But just because I don't want to, because critical and penetration can happen, I just want to mitigate that as much as possible. So I'm going to do skill 2 with her. I don't think it's, it's really not going to affect the end game that much either way. But I just want to mitigate the possibility of, losing a unit here. Now, we will need to do this skill with Leafia. And unfortunately, I think I said earlier we're not going to do it. I lied. The 25% is gone, and all we have now is 20%. But it's not that big of a deal. Like, the 5% loss isn't massive, because here in 3 turns, we're going to do a quad SA. In a perfect world, though, that quad SA would kill our opponent. But look at his health. This is why I say I just don't think the Thunder team could pull this off. It sucks. It really does. Now, I could personally be lacking units. Thunder team is a team that I don't pay a lot of attention to. Thunder team is a team that I rarely, if ever, use. Unless it's absolutely, completely necessary. So, probably a shame on me situation. We did need to rebuff Dawn Wind on that turn, but now I'm sure we're going to go back here and do Blowing Wind, and then just every 4th turn rebuff Dawn Wind. It's going to be that easy. Everybody else is going to go back and do their big single target attack, and we're going to be pretty good. So we're basically just going to spam attacks now. That's it. This is an easy one. Now, on turn 9, we're going to get a quad SA, but as I said, it is not going to finish off our opponent. Now, to be fair, I don't have any plant killers on here. So if I had plant killers, that actually might help. Unfortunately, I don't know that there are any plant killers that I could use. We can go look at that after this turn. But to be totally fair, even with how lousy our debuffs are, I don't know if that's going to make all the difference in the world. I don't know if that's going to make much difference at all. We'll double check it, but I really don't think that's going to do anything. So Dawnwind we're going to have to rebuff next turn, except next turn is a triple SA, so we're not going to rebuff it. We're literally just going to come in here and do our quad SA, and then we'll rebuff it. And pretty much that's that. Now, there is going to be one major downside to this quad SA, and I'll kind of explain it when we get in here. So, let's go ahead and do this. Quad SA. And note that our opponent's health isn't even maybe but a quarter down. Normally, and I will emphasize normally, we would have our opponent about half health, and this would wipe them out. But because we don't have a huge amount of percentage boosts on this team. Now, Leafia's got really good percentage buffs. She's got a fantastic percentage buff. Boom. But we've not debuffed enough to let her do her thing. And unfortunately, the biggest issue is Belle's SA. Number one, it's only one turn. Okay? So Belle's main effect there, which is magic resistance down 50%, disappears on this turn. It's gone. Okay, so if we go over here now, we have thunder resist down 30%, but we do not have magic resistance down. So I have to reapply that using his skill 3. In fact, we're just going to go back and do skill 3 with pretty much everyone anyway. And of course, Dawnwind with Haruhime. And at this point, pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to do a double SA with Belle and Leafia, and then probably one more SA with just Leafia. So, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about here, but the percentage SA buffs, let's keep going here. The percentage SA buffs, pretty much, I mean, honestly, they somewhat exist on Ryu. She's got a good one, but she does her attack so early, it's really not that insanely relevant, if you kind of understand what I'm going for here. Leafius is kind of the best. Now, Belle does a good debuff, but I don't think it's good enough to warrant a fair amount of use. Now, once again, I am going to attack with him again, because honestly, and I've done the math on this, even at the levels they're at, his extra little oomph that he adds on there, basically his attack coupled with Leafia's, with the amount of damage they're going to do after his debuff is applied and replicated, emphasis on that, is going to be enough to make a slight difference in the rest of the match. So, case in point, we're going to go back to Blowing Wind here, and that's really important because we need to keep those debuffs in play. So here's Thunder Resistance down, Magic Resistance down, and that is kind of that. Penetration Critical Rate, I don't need to worry about that. So, and we're not really worried about much of anything else. I wish I had physical debuffing. So if I had physical debuffing, notice this is 75% per physical debuff skill. If I had a good physical debuff on this team, she would be producing a lot more damage than she is at the moment. And this turn actually might be a lot different otherwise. Like, she would be like basically an excellent skill 3 unit. But I don't have it built into the team, sadly. Especially considering most of my DPS is coming from Leafia, who's magic. Now, Belle's SA is going to do magic resist down 50%. Most of the newer units either do 50% with 2 actions, either, like magic and physical, or magic and thunder. But he's older. He's only doing magic down 50%. So that's another major deficit here. Now, Leafia is fantastic. She does 80% per self magic buff skill. She gets 2 buff skills. So she hits stupid hard. But the problem is since Belle's is only 1 turn, that means that after that quad SA we did, it's really not replicated. It's not doing much of anything for us. So we need to make sure that Haruhime is doing Blowing Wind to make sure that all those debuffs do stay in play after this turn. Now, Leafia should hit for like 2 mil here, 2.2, 2.18, close enough. I say he should hit for 2.25 in all my test runs, so just a little bit of an RNG thing there. And then, just under 100k with that. But honestly, if she didn't have Belle attacking with her, she'd only be hitting for like 1.4 mil. So her damage drops off drastically. So having that 50% debuff and the extra 10% or whatever it is, I think it's like 10% for having Belle on there, actually makes a big difference. 2 Leafy attacks would not equate to what Bell and Leafia do together, especially considering the next 2 or 3 turns while we're waiting on that final SA. So, we're going to go back here to skill 3, and we're going to keep doing Blowing Wind. The buffs are not going to run out, so literally I'm just going to continue doing Blowing Wind until, just to keep the debuffs in play, until this final SA in this next turn, which should kill our opponent. That is not an SA. What? That's alright. Could swear we got an SA on that turn, but maybe I messed something up somewhere. My stack might have been a little bit. Somebody might have attacked before Harahime or something. I'd have to go back and watch it. We should have had an SA on that turn. But nevertheless, here we go. Leafia's SA. Everybody else skill 3. And this is this. In fact, you see his health is so low that we probably could have gotten it on that turn. We just didn't. So she did a 1.8 there before, and she would have done a 1.4 without Bell. So really, in the long run, it does pay out. So once again, if you have units that are only +2, +3, they're still going to be very viable for these fights. Obviously, Leafia being max limit broken is going to be my main DPS. But obviously, you want your hardest unit to be your DPS anyway. Let's just do a quick investigation here. So let's go to our album. I'm going to filter this down by Thunder and 4-star. There we go. So I'm lacking her. Let's see if she does what I need. Remove curse and ailment cure. Nope. Now she does use Thunder magic attack 60% per self regen and on guard. Let's see. All target down 35%. Nope. Nope, she doesn't quite have what I need. Ooh, Alfric. Alfric actually might have it. Because I actually do not have him. So strength plus 100%. I don't think that's actually worth. Thunder attack damage 60%. Low thunder magic attack. Does he do a debuff? No, he does not. So, yeah. He'd be a good one to have, but I don't think he's going to make up the difference here. And Daphne, on the other hand, let's see what she does here. So single target plus 35%, which would be nice. Physical resist down 60%. So if I was building a physical team, she'd be a great one to have on there. I don't really have her. And as far as physical DPSs go, let's look here. Otaro's a poor fit. I don't think Osfi has... I know she has a percentage boost. Oh no, she does thunder resist. Physical resist, magic resist, and thunder resist down 50%, which would have been nice. But that's AoE, and she's not producing damage. So actually, I take that back. I probably should have put Osfi on there. But to be fair, I did run it with Osfi, and it took a few more turns just because she wasn't producing the damage Bell was producing. So Osfi, a good choice, but... You know, it took a few extra turns because she is predominantly AoE. And where Bell is producing more damage because he's single target. So that's kind of an exception to the rule there. Let's see. Thunder attack damage plus 50%. So yeah, I don't think there's really much of anybody else. Well, that's 30%. That's just terrible. So we're kind of at a bit of a deficit here. Now, once again, who do I have that would get a good percentage boost? She would not. What does Samira do? No, Samira's very old. Gareth, thunder resist down 60%. He's single target, so he would not have been a bad choice either. But I really still don't feel like we would have gotten it out there. We really need thunder and magic both down, and he's physical, so it is what it is. We need both skills. And I just simply don't see both skills. I already know that they don't do it. I've looked at a lot of these units. So there is the potential, but you really have to have every single unit on your team on point. And even then, it's going to be a big question mark. Your team composition is going to be a bit weird. I'm sure somebody out there is like probably got a team in mind. They're like, we could do this. But unlike some of the other elements out there, I feel like Thunder's at a massive disadvantage here. So if you really want to S-clear this, probably run the water team, which I've said for every fight thus far. And it's the team we're going to use in 111. So, if you have the water team, use that. Don't use Thunder. S-clear it. There you go, guys. That's there's your 2 cents. Because once again, as much as he does Thunder down, I would then need physical resistance down, and then we'd have to run somebody that does physical resistance down. Then we're lacking either the Thunder attack damage and all that, and we don't really have anybody here that does a good percentage boost. Thunder's best DPSs are all magic, so it's just an unfortunate team. That's my 2 cents. Let me know if you differentiate down in the comment section below, but for now, it's gonna be the video. Good luck. Go kill it with water team, and I'll see you guys tonight for 111.